Hi John, can you tell me what Jury's Inn is working on at the moment?
Well, Jury's Inn has grown over the past 3 years actually, by nearly half, 50%. So opened 9 new hotels over that period. But at the same time as doing that, we've also been spending a significant amount of time renovating existing hotels. So that's one of the programs that we're doing across the estate at the moment, is spending what will be around 20 million over a number of years to renovate existing properties. So thus far we've done 6 properties, and we're now working on the next phase of that, including here in Islington, where we've completed the bedroom renovation for all of the rooms in the hotel.
So tell me, what's your growth plan going forward and what funding do you have?
Well, we're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to grow both in terms of the existing business, the organic business. So we're growing that by primarily attracting new customers to Jury's Inn, particularly focusing on the business market, but also on the leisure market. And then we're opening new properties in Newcastle Gateshead, which is going to open on the 24th of August, so that'll be our next opening. And then we're also going to open a hotel in Portsmouth at the end of the year. And as I say, then we're also going to do a number of renovations, including in Croydon and our hotel in Birmingham, as well as our hotel in Edinburgh. 2 years ago, we raised about 60 million of capital, 60 million pounds of capital, both debt and equity from our existing shareholders and our existing banks. And that amount of money is really what we're using to fund all of our development growth. We also have an extension to this particular property here in Islington, where we're going to add 150 bedrooms to that. We'll probably start construction on that towards the end of 2011, and all of that is already pre-funded. We have it in the bank, so we're in a position that we can actually move on these projects as and when we feel we're ready to do so. At the moment, one of the big challenges, of course, is that the hotels are very busy, and business has actually improved quite a lot, led by the London properties, but also now happening in Ireland and as well in the provincial part of the UK. So we don't want to displace business, so we're trying to find the right timing to do the renovations in these different properties. We have, over the course of the last 2 years, redefined the proposition of Jury's Inns, redefined it in the mid-market space, and we sort of describe the hotels as exceptional everyday city hotels. So exceptional meaning more than you would expect for the grading or the positioning, and also more than you'd expect for the price. Every day conveying the fact that they're both for leisure and for business, but also the fact that they are accessible and affordable. City, because each one of the hotels is at the core city centre location in their cities, so right at the doorstep of everything that you might want to do as a leisure traveller, and the kind of offices and companies that you may wish to engage with as a business traveller. And hotels, because while we call the company Jury's Inns, I mean the actual building itself is designed like a 4-star hotel in many respects. Large lobby, very welcoming first impressions, full service food and beverage, large bedrooms which are much larger than typical 3-star properties. And as I say, very well appointed, but most importantly, a very high level of service and hospitality from the employees that work in the hotels. So that's kind of, I think, a proposition that is growing in favour from the corporate and leisure customer. So we would see that there is an opportunity to continue to grow at the pace of around 2 or 3 properties per annum over the next number of years.
Okay. And how would you like to see Jury's Inn expand more into Europe? Are you looking at sites on the mainland a bit more?
We opened our first site in Europe 2 years ago in Prague. It actually is trading extremely well. We also own a site for a property in Budapest, which we're constantly keeping under evaluation. The Hungarian economy, unfortunately, went through a very bad dip in 2009 and 2010, and is slowly recovering, but in due course we see ourselves developing that property. We don't actually have any specific plans to grow beyond that in Europe, but we're always looking for other opportunities. Eastern and Central Europe, as I say, has been the platform for the growth into Europe, but we equally could see ourselves expanding into mainland Europe if the right opportunities presented themselves. I think what's happened in the last 2 years is that opportunities in the UK have become more attractive than what they were 3 or 4 years ago, when property prices were highly inflated and were very difficult to actually make happen for a mid-market hotel company. We're now in a situation where those prices are a little bit more affordable, and there are still a number of cities where we'd like to be in the UK, and certain cities where we currently have one hotel, where we'd like to have 2 hotels. And in London, where we have 2 hotels, we'd obviously like to have a number more properties in the London market.
Are you finding that properties are difficult to come by, or do you think that it's a rather saturated market?
It's not saturated per se, but finding the right location is always challenging, because we want to be at the heart of the city centre. We're not that interested in motorway junctions or being at the peripheries of cities. So if you want to get core city centre locations, it's often challenging. If you want to get them at a price that is an appropriate price and not pay more than you should, again, it's also challenging. And clearly, if you look at what's happened again over the last 2 years, funding for development partners has become more difficult, and as a result, the number of projects that are actually getting off the ground are less than what they were in the boom times. But slowly but surely, we'll find those locations. And I think one of the things that we're not focused on is simply growing for the sake of growing. We're focused on growing in the right locations, with the right product, with the right development partners. And if that means we open 1 hotel in a year, or we open 4 hotels in a year, and we're not that focused on that as a be-all and end-all, because when you think about these investments, they're very long-term. It's a significant amount of money. It's much more important to get the right locations and get the right deals, rather than just doing growth for the sake of doing growth.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.